So let me talk about two different examples. So one which I think has that multiplier mindset. And one thing that you notice about a good multiplier when they come into a new team is they don't try to change everything at once, right? One of the first things any good multiplier will do is to listen to people, right?
Yeah, love that.
And I think part of this is trying to understand, like, if I'm that leader or manager, my goal is to help my team. And to help my team, I need to understand what are the struggles or challenges they have. And for me to understand that, I need to talk to them. I need to hear and listen to some of the things that they're struggling with. And each team is going to be different. There's the famous Fred Brooks paper, No Silver Bullet, right? Is that
Yeah.
there's many different solutions or problems, but which problems that your team are currently facing, you have to talk to them and work out what are the things that they're struggling with, right? So, as an example, one team could be struggling with a couple of people who don't get along, and every technical discussion blows up, and there's no clear path forward because they can't agree. Other teams don't have that problem. Instead, their problems might lie a little bit more outside of their organization, in that maybe they're trying to get something done from another team, but they don't have any good relationships to influence their product roadmap. And so they never get their dependency in the right time. Their plans get thrown out as a result, and they underdeliver according to what their plans are. So a good multiplier will be talking to each person, trying to listen carefully to really understand what are opportunities for them to be a multiplier, and to listen to them. So if you're trying to work out if your new leader or manager is a good person, I would ask myself, are they talking to me? Are they listening to me? And how is that going? Uh, the counter example I want to give you is sometimes, and it's a pattern that I see quite a lot, somebody who comes from a big tech firm, and you've probably seen a lot of these. So anyone from the FANGs, they go into a small startup and they start to go, here's how we did it at Amazon. Here's how we did it at Google, right? We need to use this process. We need to use this practice. What you're doing is terrible, right? It's completely wrong. They're not really contextualizing it in what is useful. And I see this as a coach to CTOs. When people have hired somebody and they hope for the best based on just the brand, but often it's incorrect because they're not really thinking like a multiplier. They're thinking about copy and paste structures, which don't work in a new environment because they're not really listening to what is necessary in their current environment to help multiply them. So they're the two examples that I would be thinking of.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Pat, because I'm having a lot of conversations with some companies at the moment who have gone to the AWS summit, and AWS have saying this is how we're going to be structuring our teams. And is you've got a product leader that is leading the strategy, you've got then a business analyst, then you need two senior engineers, more than likely a multiplier senior engineer, two data engineers, two data scientists, and then a principal engineer that looks after the DevOps orchestration. And then there's a team of 15 to 20 agentic AIs. Amazon is saying this is what we're doing. Now you guys should go and do exactly the same. But actually, like, you come and start making like almost a copy and paste of what someone else is doing, then I guess there's maybe big risks there. Like,
Absolutely.
for anyone that is maybe starting to, and I think that there'll be a lot of this maybe happening in the industry, like, should people just buy into that straight away, or should be like, what should people think and feel in those types of scenarios when those types of organizational changes are happening, particularly if they are of that multiplier mindset themselves?
I think one of the hardest things in our industry is, it's a very human nature, is that we follow trends,
Yeah.
follow what's popular. And the harder thing, and this is, I think, true for a good maker as well as a multiplier, is sort of ask ourselves, what's the core problem we're trying to solve? This is something that I see from really, really good makers, right? Before they come up with a brilliant solution, they spend a lot of time trying to do sort of diagnosis or to articulate what's the problem. So for a feature, it's like, what is the user really trying to achieve? What's the job to be done? What's the qualities that we need to achieve? And in this sort of example, it's kind of like, well, okay, if we're going to do something, why? What's the value that's going to bring us? Well, do we have that challenge, right? And again, there's many different solutions to solve that. And so I think we should be open to hearing how other companies do things because it gives us ideas. But we first have to do that homework. And that's the hard part of sort of working out what's our current priorities in our environment here that we care about. And nobody can tell you that, right? That's the hard part. This is not an external thing. This is something that you have to make decisions on, dealing with uncertainty, because there's lots of different things. But also, again, listening to people about what's the current challenges in your current environment.
Okay.